You're listening to another Geek Pride podcast. Sit back, relax, and put it in your ears. Coming to some ears near you. In a world so like this one, you couldn't tell the difference. Geeks and fanatics engage in eternal war for the perfect film pitch. Judged by their peers, and against all odds they cry, pitch, please.
Hello and welcome to Pitch Please, Geek Pride's semi-regular podcast in which we gather three of our finest and ask them to pitch us on video games, books, comics, films, all sorts of properties, hypothetical in nature. I am your host, Cam Tyndall. You'll know me from The Voices Under Your Bed. Joining me today is the beast from the southeast, Mr. Mike Orvis.
I like that as a title. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're listening to this from.
And the man who I would call Resident Daddy Cool, but I refuse to define him purely by his offspring, Ben Fee.
Would you define him by The Offspring, as in the band from America?
I got it, Mike. You ruined it as soon by immediately explaining it.
Who had the seminal classic, Keep Them Separated.
You could say that our other gentleman is pretty fly for a wine guy.
Hey-o!
How you doing, Ben?
I don't know why you're all so obsessed with me.
Are you breathing like that on purpose?
Me?
You've got a bit of a sex pest vibe. Like, I'm digging it, but what the viewers can't see is that we're doing this over Skype, and your Skype image is just your mouth. So what I'm seeing is your mouth and just.
I might have a little bit of a cold.
Oh no, buddy.
Which is the best thing.
That's not going to help because you're going down. Anyway, Callum, you should probably carry on doing the hosting thing.
Today, I will be asking these two fine gentlemen to pitch me on episode 9 of Star Wars. I want them to close out the trilogy for me, which is perhaps particularly relevant right now. A little peek behind the curtain. We're recording this as Rogue One is just being birthed onto the world, and this is receiving very, very, very positive feedback. So let's see if you guys can match up to that. Ben, I believe you're starting us off.
Yeah, I think so. This is a particularly shitty pitch to choose because I mean it's not like you're pitching something completely brand new. Like, oh, pitch a new He-Man film, or something like that. This is like, okay, we've started the story, we're a third of the way through, how does it end? It's like, oh.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of in your pitch, you kind of get to shape what happens in Star Wars Episode 8 as well.
Well, I have. I mean, you've had to, really.
Yeah.
So let me start with that. Let me sort of like give you a very brief sort of synopsis of how episode 8 sort of finishes and where episode 9 is going to start. So, in episode 8, you've got Snoke and the First Order, and they're searching for the first Jedi Temple. This is the thing that Luke Skywalker's been away from the universe trying to find all these years. And the First Order and the Resistance, it ends the film with them meeting in the ship in the skies above the Jedi Temple planet, and they are fighting. Poe, Rey, Finn, and Luke sneak down to the planet in a little ship, and R2 stows away. On the planet there, they confront Snoke and Kylo Ren. They're already down there, and Kylo Ren is ordered to kill Luke. And Kylo's all like, I killed my father, I can kill my uncle. And Luke's all right, your father wasn't a Jedi. And they fight. Luke has him to rights, but Luke can't kill him. Luke can't kill his nephew. He tries to reach out to him. It's not too late, Ben. And it's never too late. And you can see that Kylo is willing to sort of listen to this. This is the son of Darth Vader. This is his uncle. And he starts to warm to that kind of emotion. The light side is sort of breaking through a bit. But Snoke steps in and just kills Luke. And then turns round onto Kylo and says, "You have failed me for the last time." And he brings his lightsaber up to kill him. But at that moment, First Order lander drops. He's there going to force choke Kylo. So Kylo's struggling in his arms. This First Order lander drops with more troops, and shots run out, explosions fire up. The team gets separated. So in the sky, the Resistance force is being crushed. We see Leia fighting off boarders. She comes on the comms to Rey. "We're lost, but he's not lost. Promise me you'll bring him back from the darkness. Tell him I..." Shh. Then the comms go down. The line goes dead. Rey brings Kylo into the ship they landed in. Huge battle scene. Lasers going off everywhere. Stormtroopers fighting. Rey and Kylo reach their ship. They take off. Finn and Poe are left behind, and they're captured by the First Order. As they're being captured and taken away, Poe reaches out to Finn and says, "I love you." And in the twist on the Han Solo Leia line, Finn goes, "Wait, what?" So that's pretty much how it ends. So they're being separated. The whole plot sort of revolving around this Jedi temple. Snoke wants to get it because there's some great Force power inside there, and he would like to get this power. In that episode, in episode 8, they'd also go through the myth of the Force tree as well, if you're familiar with that. It's something that's cropped up recently as a potential scene in episode 8. While Luke is training Rey, he tells about this tree. And there was this young girl and young boy on this planet, and there was a tree in their garden. And whenever the children went near it, the girl felt more powerful and felt more one with the world and one with nature. When the boy went near it, he got angry and destructive. One day, the boy kills the girl. But the girl's energy goes into the tree, and she becomes one with the Force, and she becomes the first ever Jedi. Her Force ghost pops out of the tree, and she starts the Jedi Order. That's not of me. That's from the internet. That's something that I've read that will actually be canon, possibly. I hope it's not, because it sounds pretty out there, but it works with my pitch. So that's how episode 8 ends. It ends with the First Order triumphant. They've secured the Jedi Temple on this planet. Luke's dead. Leia's presumed dead. You've got Rey and Kylo Ren. They're jetting off somewhere trying to escape. And you've got Poe and Finn captured. I'm so glad I'm getting yawns even before I've started episode 9. Right.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
It was nothing against you, sir. I've had a very late night, so I'm a little less high energy than I typically am. But I will power through.
Please do. It's not rewarding at all. You won't be.
The payoff is minimal.
It's just taken me ages to do as well. I don't think I'm anywhere near anything decent. Okay, anyway, should we? So
you've got about another 20-ish minutes, maybe a little bit less.
I'm going to take at least 40 minutes just to run through this now. So strap in, boys. So episode 9. It starts with
what's the title?
Episode 9. Suck my balls. Episode 9, Suck My Balls is how it's going to be called. No, episode 9, I know, something shit. Like episode 9,
Jar Jar's Return.
Jar Jar's Return. Just two fairly nebulous, interesting sounding words put together to sound fun. I don't know. Because the next one's...
of Force in there.
The next one's supposed to be called Destiny of the Force, which sounds so shit.
Right.
And okay, so the next one, the one that's going to be called, I don't know, the new Force, the Force,
It's called Two Brothers. It's called Two Brothers.
No, it's called Savage Oppress.
Yes.
Damn.
And it's just about him saying his name. Just I need to get through to you guys that my actual name is Savage.
My for real's name.
Oppress.
My wife just came up today with some of those Funko Pops that everyone loves. And I know. That's why I said it. And they're from Star Wars. And she said, "Oh, I've got you these. I'm not sure if they're good for Christmas." So I'm like, "Oh, let's have a look." And she showed me one of them. I have not got a fucking clue who it is. I am a massive. It's called Sidon Ithamor or Ithalor, something like that. I think it's from the new film. I think it's from Force Awakens.
Isn't that the one of the X-Wing pilots? He's based after.
He's got a red face.
Crimson Corsair.
Yes. Oh yeah.
From Force Awakens. He's in the background. He's the guy that Finn is going to go off with at Maz Kanata's place. Like,
yes,
you know when Finn's like, I'm leaving.
For some cheeky cock and ball play.
Totally. And then they revealed afterwards that, oh, by the way, that super background character, he's actually nicknamed the Crimson Corsair, and he's like the greatest pirate that ever lived. And he just appears for 5 seconds. His story is absurdly baller.
I love how they do that. They always do this with all the Star Wars stuff. It's like, I read a book once and it had like every single minor tiny character in the cantina scene in New Hope, and every single one had this huge background and like detailed story about themselves. I loved it when I was a child, and I was like, why? Who does this? This is crazy. Anyway, I've got like hardly any time left. I'm wasting time here. So episode 9. Okay, boom. The Force comes on your face. Starts with Rey and Kylo Ren are hiding from the First Order forces. Rey knows she needs to escape the system to get to and reach the rest of the Resistance, who haven't been destroyed. So the rest of the Resistance are hiding somewhere out there. She needs to get to them and bring them to the planet to stop what the First Order are doing, because the First Order are so close to getting their hands on this super power within the temple, if they can find it. Kylo wants to join the First Order, but Rey's, smacking him down, giving him a lot of serious talking to. This sort of sets up the dynamic for these two. It's going to be a bit of a odd couple kind of thing going on. He's a dark Jedi, she's a light Jedi. Oh, hilarity ensues. So there's going to be a lot of tension, a lot of like conflict between the two of them. But his arc is going to be back to the light side. That's why I'm taking him. He's seen the light in Luke before Luke died, and he's seen the darkness in Snoke, and he's had too much. Through all episode 8, he's going to be very aggressive, very dark side, overcompensating for this light inside him. And then at the end of episode 8, he cracks. Too much. His mind snaps a little bit, and he starts making his way back to the light side. Well, as much as he can, really, after all the atrocities he's committed. So they're hiding out in a meteorite field from the First Order patrols, but they're found by one of the First Order ships. And Rey, she senses a large life force within one of the meteorites, and she baits the First Order ships to come towards it, and then she awakens it, and the meteorite, the worm from, is it New Hope or Empire? In Empire, the one that they land inside, the worm pops out and eats the two First Order ships. A bit of a throwback nod there to Empire. So they need to get to the rest of the Resistance. Kylo is a very moody, belligerent kind of guy, but there are glimpses of his humanity in there. So they land on a random planet, just a random planet. There's a small jungle world with these little market towns and that kind of thing. They have a small adventure there. They have...
that should be the name of the film.
A Small Adventure.
Star Wars and the Small Adventure.
And the Small Dungeon.
So this would sort of show the audience, the First Order are really settling in now. There's stormtroopers in the streets. It reminds us of Tatooine, of Mos Eisley and Tatooine. Stormtroopers walking about, keeping sort of order in this little town.
There's a third Cantina song,
and it goes and it just goes over and over like this.
Song.
Okay. So you've got another canteen, another all that kind of jazz going on. They're trying to acquire false credentials so they can leave the system. But the First Order are alerted to their presence, and they're forced to flee. So you've got a action scene there of them trying to flee the First Order, and there's a mysterious figure following them. So they're forced to flee, but only after being told.
Sorry, was that the character's name?
What?
was a mysterious figure. Da-da-da-da.
Oh yeah, the character's name is actually Suspicious Music. Just my name is ba 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 ba.
Just weirdly opens his mouth and that sound plays out.
You're mysterious, aren't you? Well, you know.
They don't call me no for nothing.
So I've been told.
So they have to leave this planet, but it adds a bit more variety to the film. It adds a bit more colour, a bit more weird aliens, that kind of thing. All the good Star Wars stuff is in there, on there like that.
No, a good Star Wars planet is one weather system, one plant life, whole planet. That's the rule.
Fairly sure I've got that. It's a jungle planet. Completely. The entire planet's a jungle planet. Because we've not really had that yet. Yeah, it's a jungle planet. And so before they leave, they're told to try a casino on Nar Shaddaa, the vertical city.
Ooh.
Yeah? Fucking love Nar Shaddaa. Okay. So yes, I'm going to split over to Finn and Poe. Just because I feel as though it's probably best to include these guys in the plot.
Are they making out?
They're just banging. They're just raw.
They're fucking each other, and I mean
awkward. Direct
fucking
cut,
each other.
and they look at the camera as if they've actually been caught. And then you pan down, and it's just BB-8.
What? Just giving them both hand jobs?
No, who's just like awkwardly rolled in.
Yeah.
I don't like this kind of. Okay,
and the subtitles just say, "Father, no!"
Okay, this is unrelated to what you're saying. Finn is battered and bashed by the First Order. He's clearly been tortured by them for his knowledge of Rey and where she is, what she's doing, that kind of thing. He's being kept in a force cage in Snoke's new throne room in the temple.
I fucking hate being put in a force cage.
All right. Don't try
Ruins
and trap
my weekend.
Nobody puts Mikey in a corner.
And while he's so Snoke's men are searching the temple for this mysterious power within. So Finn's being tortured by a new Knight of Ren. Because there's loads of these Knights of Ren. We've only seen one so far. There's a whole bunch of them. This one's called Toby.
Shiloh.
Ren. Shiloh Ren. Sheila Booth. He's played by Sheila Booth. Poe
call me Gary Wren.
Gary Wren. My sister Jen Wren. Christopher. That'd be a good one. Anyway, moving
It's
on.
not really a Sith name, is it?
Christopher Wren.
Savage Opress Wren.
Kylo Stimpy. And then Poe awakens to find a strange young girl in his cell. She reveals that she is a force sensitive. She reveals that he is force sensitive, and that she is a guardian of this place.
And he's like, "Fuck off! You're force sensitive." He just starts crying.
Because there's a whole bit in the comic books where if this tree thing is correct, Cameron Poe? No, that's from Con Air. It's not Cameron Poe. That's it's a different film altogether. Although he would be so much cooler in a Star Wars film. This fucking Cameron Poe there. I've got to see my daughter. That's what he says in the film.
Can we get Nick Cage to play anyone in Star Wars?
I think you should play everyone in Star Wars. Every role. I mean, we've got the CGI now. We can do it. Come on.
We have the technology.
Just green screen the fucker, though. Okay, so it turns out that this girl is the Force ghost of the girl from the tree, from the myth.
Oh my god.
I know, right? And she's the founder of the Jedi Order. So this little girl is the founder of the whole fucking shebang. With her help, he escapes and is led to an ancient tree deep in the temple. This is where Yggdrasil. This is the tree. This is the Force tree that started the entire Order.
My fucking tree.
Oh man, this is okay. And this is where Force ghosts come from. So when a Jedi dies, this is where they are channeled into Force ghosts. So we can see things flitting around the branches, little brief images of spectral figures.
That's not how Force ghosts come from. Shh. Yeah, but it's canonised as to where, because Clone Wars is canon. You see how Force ghosts happen because Yoda goes to become a Force ghost.
Okay.
just like
so.
I'll just rip this up.
How does he become a Force ghost?
How does one become a Force ghost?
In like 5 words or less.
You accept both sides' force.
Really?
You said 5 words.
That was. You had to force that a little for 5, didn't you? I honestly thought you might just leave it at "you accept."
You accept the premise, Ben.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll explain why later. It's just because. Yeah, don't worry.
No, it's fine. I'll just cut this bit out. It's fine. Your entire problem with this, I'll just cut it out. Any dissension, I'm just going to cut it out of the podcast. Okay.
Yourself, don't argue with the editor. Yeah, so, Callum, you dick.
So Force ghosts come from this tree, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. We learn that if Snoke finds this tree, he'll be able to create an army of Dark Jedi, and the Knights of Ren will take over the universe. Okay, flipping back to Kylo and Rey. So they reach Nar Shaddaa, and they go to this casino on Nar Shaddaa. It's a very dangerous place, full of criminals, dark and dingy. And they go to this casino and they say, we're looking for someone to help us acquire these items. And there's someone from above looks down and tells them just to kill them. So guns are pulled, lightsabers are pulled, but then the guy on top says, stop, and he notices who it is. And he realises this man and woman asking questions, the man is Kylo Ren, it's Han Solo's son, and down the steps comes Lando Calrissian.
Oh, shit!
And there's that
son of a bitch.
Lando Calrissian.
Is he still played by Billy D. Williams?
No, he's played by Hayden Christensen. Hayden Christensen in blackface plays Lando Calrissian now. Yet another terrible choice by Hayden. Okay, so Lando. Lando gives them what they need and tells them to be careful. As they leave the casino, criminals grab these credentials from Rey and run off through Nar Shaddaa. So we have this whole foot chase through Nar Shaddaa of of Kylo Ren and Rey, and they're chasing these criminals all the way through Nar Shaddaa, through these huge drops and across this criminal city. It shows off their Jedi abilities. They're jumping over the place, they're using the Force, all this kind of cool stuff. Really see them at their best, and they're working together as well. They're working
that's nice.
Yeah, you know.
It's good to see them working together.
They reach the criminal, and Kylo gets to him. Kylo pulls his lightsaber, is going to kill him. Rey tells him, don't kill him, please.
Yeah.
And
don't be a bellend.
Kylo makes the first decision not to kill somebody.
Aww.
I'm really proud of him, and she's too.
Can he have another little, like, spacky breakdown and maybe hit everything that's not him?
That'd be, yeah. Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
Excellent.
Just a really inappropriately immature breakdown.
Well, that's what he does, doesn't he?
No, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Just constantly just smashing stuff up. That was really expensive and important, Kylo. Now we're stuck in space.
Like, he's hit the one wire in the entirety of Starkiller Base, and everything goes.
Now we don't have air. Cheers,
brilliant,
man.
well done, Kylo.
Fuck's sake.
You fucked us again.
I hope you're proud.
It's not my fault, I have feelings, Dad. Not your dad. Would you stop calling every superior officer Dad? It's weird.
You're weird!
Dad.
I will finish what you started.
Just
stop talking to that helmet, it's fucking creepy.
They take the credentials and back to the ship. Before they reach the ship, they are they're confronted by this mysterious figure, and oh snap, it's Captain Phasma.
Oh my shit! You'd think she'd be less mysterious with all that shiny armour.
Well, she's not in a shiny armour anymore.
She's also in blackface.
Remember that?
Everyone's in blackface.
I'm just imagining now that's why no one can see Captain Phasma, because the armour's that shiny. Every time they look at it, they're like, Jesus, my eyes! And then,
her armour's no longer shiny. Her armour is dirty and scratched muggery. She's been crushed in a one of those compressors that she was thrown into in Force Awakens. So she's not looking too well.
I'd hate to get crushed by a callback as well. That would really piss me off.
It's the worst way to get crushed. So she's not as shiny as she was. She's a bit less, but she's been ordered by Snoke to bring Kylo Ren in. So they start to fight. You've got Kylo Ren. You've got Rey. That they're fighting, and they escape. They use the Force. They incapacitate, and they escape. Okay, they make it to the Resistance, and they tell them, "Hey, we need to go to this planet, Jedi Temple, Snoke. Really important shit. Let's go." Back on the planet at the temple, Poe rescues Finn against the wishes of the Ghost. The Ghost says, "Stay here, Poe. We'll teach you. We'll give you the power you need to defeat the First Order." But Poe says, "No, I need to go and rescue my friend, my buddy. I need to go and rescue Finn." So he leaves against the Ghost wishes. Poe battles Snoke to try and free Finn. Poe turns up in the throne room to battle.
It's a Poe throwdown.
It's a post-Snoke throwdown, but obviously Snoke kicks his ass. Snoke completely just dismantles him, reaches into his brain, finds the location of the tree. "Ah," he says, "I found the tree." I'm not dialogue lines are my strong point.
I'll tell you what, mate. You do plot, I'll do dialogue.
I have found it.
I have found the tree. Now for the third act.
This makes me happy. Poe's hurt.
Mine is an evil laugh.
While Snoke is distracted, Finn manages to get Poe out of there. Finn turns into a bit of a badass. Finn managed to handle himself. All the sort of stormtrooper trainees he becomes a bit of a warrior, fighting off First Order troopers as he gets his friend out of there. The First Order find the tree and they start to create the Dark Jedi. The Resistance arrive. They fight off the First Order in space. They land. They start to get beaten by the Dark Jedi. And by now, Kylo Ben is wavering. They meet up with the lads, Poe and Finn. They reach the tree, and it looks like they're all going to die. There's the Dark Jedi, there's First Order, and there's only Poe, Finn, Kylo Ren, and Rey around this tree. And then Rey decides to sacrifice herself, and she becomes one with the tree, releasing all the Force ghosts within, who attack the Dark Jedis and attack the First Order. This tide, like end of Lord of the Rings, tide of ghosts come out, and there's cameos in there. There are Easter eggs to old Jedi. Freaking Nomi Sunrider's in there. You've got
with an army of Ewoks take out one of them.
Every ghost is just an Ewok.
Ewoks would work pretty well, wouldn't it? Just an army of Ewoks come out, and they destroy the Kyle Katarn's in there, and then they just muller the First Order disappear. Rey's Force Ghost, and Kylo and Poe and Finn fight Snoke all together and finally take him down, and they kill him. Rey enters the tree for the final time to become the source of the Force. That rhymes.
The Force Source.
The Force Source.
That's the name of the film, then.
And the
Source of the Force.
Source of the Force. Nice. That's pretty good, actually. And Kylo starts the Jedi Order. End of film.
Okay.
I feel as though I missed out something pretty big there. I did. Just sort of as a little segue. Snoke. The story behind Snoke. Who he is. Snoke is Palpatine in my story.
Okay.
Kylo Ren
in blackface.
Kylo Ren became obsessed with his grandfather Darth Vader, and as his sort of training with Luke sort of continued, he decided to take a little break. He goes off to follow the footsteps of his grandfather. He goes to Tatooine. He goes to Coruscant. He goes to Endor, the moon of Endor, where his father died, or at least around which his father died. The moon of Endor is now a wasteland. Just completely, the forest is gone. It's just burnt stumps, desert. It's destroyed. He finds the pyre on which his grandfather was burned, which is where he finds the burned helmet of Darth Vader. He also finds there a dark force, a dark energy, which is what's left of Palpatine after the Death Star exploded. And this dark force is trying to come back into the world. So him and the rest of the Knights of Ren, well, the lads who will become the Knights of Ren, they Voldemort it up and they bring Palpatine back into a new body. But this body is slowly dying. It can't handle the power of the Emperor inside it. So this person, this Snoke, is desperate to find this source of the Force TM, to bring him back to full health and to regenerate him and to take his place again in the galaxy. So that's his motivation there. And that's it. That's how I see the trilogy ending.
Excellent.
I'm going far.
You have a lot of faith in your own pitch. Okay. Right. Callum, do you want to save questions to the end, or Callum, or do you want to just launch straight into mine?
Let's launch straight into it.
Okay. So to give you a little background of my pitch, I've used a thing. I really like a thing that I sort of did on Facebook a while ago, based on an idea that Patton Oswalt had about Luke wielding Darth Vader's lightsaber. And it kind of gave me the spark of the idea for what this film is about. Now, in my opinion, Star Wars in general is about balancing the Force, and it's never really touched upon, but heavily hinted at throughout the entirety of the film series and what is now canon. And so there's going to be some kind of obscure references, but they are to canonized Star Wars stuff that is sort of now not the extended universe.
Thrawn? Is it Thrawn?
No, it's not Thrawn. Thrawn's in.
You've lost.
Thrawn's in.
You've lost points, Mike.
Anyway, okay, so it's called Star Wars Episode 9: The Grey Order.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, a name that's useful. So this is the first Star Wars film that's ever had. This first Star Wars film that's ever had a cold open. So no crawl, no fanfare, no 20th Century Fox or whatever Disney's doing now. None of that. Cold open. The cold open is to a night somewhere on an island, and there's all these sleeping Jedi, and you pan up and Luke is walking amongst them, and this is clearly like a little bit in the past because he's got a bit of a goatee thing going on. Kind of, he looks a little bit like Qui-Gon Jinn. So he's got this kind of goatee thing going on, and you see him. You kind of have a montage of him training the kids, and you see a young Ben, and you see a young Rey, and you see various other younglings, some alien species as well, because there are non-humans that can be that can be a Jedi. I particularly like in Clone Wars, there was a young Wookiee. So maybe we can have another young Wookiee as a Jedi. I just like that as an idea. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of read out what I wrote and then kind of elaborate on that. But this is literally going to be like the first 10 minutes of the movie. Cold open. No crawl. We'll get to that. So I said, Patton Oswalt's idea of Luke now wielding Vader's lightsaber is quite frankly delicious. Luke utilises the dark side in Return of the Jedi. So imagine, if you will, that Luke tried to train the new Jedi Order that you must look to both sides of the Force if you want to be complete. He symbolised this by showing everyone his father's lightsaber. Even imbued with the hate and fear that a Sith Kyber crystal has, Luke is able to keep his own feelings in check. This training went well until his own nephew, no less, becomes drawn to that lightsaber. One night he sneaks in and tries to grab it. Luke senses his presence and knows this is the way of the Force. This is Ben's Padawan test. Every Padawan, if you don't know, has to go through a test. It's how they get their lightsaber, how they become more in tune with the Force, and how they kind of begin their training in earnest. Because you can be Force sensitive, like a lot of people are in this film, but you have to go through your Padawan's test to truly kind of start your way into the Jedi Order. Upon touching the hilt, his mind is clouded, visions rush of a past life, innocence corrupted by sheer power. Ben becomes afraid. Uncle Luke has all this power? He feels truly, for the first time in his life, afraid. What is Luke capable of? Fears lead to doubt. That doubt leads to anger. Luke must be stopped. Only the power of the dark side can stop him. I'll need an army, thinks Ben. So that'll kind of stretch out. That'll play out over about 10 minutes. He'll talk to someone, but the idea of he will now know all of these things, like Uncle Luke has all this power. Maybe he confides in Rey. Maybe he confides in someone else. It doesn't matter. He's saying Uncle Luke has all this power. He's not bringing balance to the Force. He's terrifying. He's pulling the Force in one way. Blah 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 blah. And then it ends on him going, "I'll need an army." Cut to like slowly fade to black on just Ben's face, now resolute with purpose. Ben needs an army. It's the Knights of Ren, obviously. Ben needs an army. Cut to, fade to black. Then, right, and then you get your crawl, and then you get all the shiznit that's going on. I
like the remix of the theme tune.
I'm just doing it quickly because I want to get the picture up. Okay, so anyway, so now we cut to we're in some ruins somewhere. Rey is a Jedi, fully fledged. She's wearing grey robes. She's cool. You see a lightsaber on her hilt, but she's still using her stick, and you're like, okay, she's got her staff. That's going to be a big thing about this film. You'll never see Rey using her lightsaber in this film. Kind of like Old Man Logan, like she's not going to pop the claws. She's got her stick, and she'll fight with her stick when she needs to. Snoke's been killed. In Star Wars 8, it's a very downbeat ending, just like Empire was a very downbeat ending. So Rey's mission is she's trying to find the Force planet Mortis, which is located at the center of the galaxy, but no one can seem to find it. A great calamity happened in Mortis, which sent the Force out of whack. All these events that have happened over the past 60, 70 years can all be traced back to what happened on Mortis, but no one can truly say what happened. Only one man knows, that's Anakin Skywalker, and he's dead. So Rey's trying to find these ruins. Imagine sort of a Guardians of the Galaxy feel, you're less fun, but she's exploring these ruins on her own. Maybe BB-8's with her, and so she's doing that. You see her get a clue as to what's going on. You get the exposition that Mortis is what you need. Blah blah blah. Maybe she has a conversation with BB-8 because they got on quite well. Cut to Finn and Poe are on adventures. They're now the pilots and the owners of the Millennium Falcon. They are looking for an old man by the name of Ezra Miller. Their purpose, as you would have found at the end of Star Wars 8, is that they want to create a galactic federation and unite the planets under democracy. Now, what they need is heroes for the galaxy to unite under. Because if you can get all these heroes in front of everyone on every view screen, going, "Hey, I'm Ezra Miller. I was part of the Rebel movement. I'm also a Jedi."
You're thinking of Ezra.
Who am I thinking of?
From Rebels, aren't you?
Yeah, that's who I'm saying. If it's not Ezra Miller, I apologise. Ezra, what's Ezra's second name? Barker?
Bridger.
Bridger. Okay.
Ezra Miller's a weird cameo.
Alright, it's Ezra Bridger. My bad. Ezra Bridger. Okay. So yeah, they're trying to get all these old heroes. Fuck it, let's throw in, maybe they talk to Lando as well. You see like a cameo of Lando, which is Billy D. Williams and not what Ben said. And they want to unite the planets. They want to unite the planets under democracy because they think this can work. This is as good fights evil, and the New Order are kind of fragmented, and I'll go into that in a second. They both Finn and Poe go to the old Jedi Council to look for him because they're like, he's a Jedi. They do Jedi things. Let's go to the old Jedi Council on Coruscant. They look for him and they find a holocron. And Finn can use it, and everyone's like, Poe's like, but that's a Jedi thing, or how can you do that? And Finn says, well, I don't want to be a part of the Jedi life, but there are some of us that can use the Force. How do you think you fly so well? And Poe's like, see what? Like, it's crazy. Anyway, so they find
about Willis.
They find their clue, and then they're off. Cut to, I'm just giving you kind of the pips of the story. Kylo Ren is the leader of half of the New Order. So the Knights of Ren have been reinstated by, now this is a deep cut, by an original Sith artifact, the helmet of Darth Banus. Now, for those of you that don't know, this was explained in the Lando Calrissian miniseries, but Darth Sidious, or Emperor Palpatine, has a personal, essentially like a Sith yacht that's space-worthy. And in the bowels of this thing, he's got Sith artifacts, including the helmet of Darth Banus. If you touch the helmet of Darth Banus, such is the potency of the dark side in it, you just fucking turn. You turn. You don't
He's
have...
the
you don't
dude who started the rule of two, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah. So like it's imbued with fucking, it's an evil artifact, and Kylo's managed to get his hands on it. Now, what the new Knights of Ren are is they're stormtroopers from the New Order. There's fucking hundreds of them, maybe thousands of them, but they've been tainted by the darkness, but it drove them insane because these guys are mostly clones. They're mostly brainwashed from an early age, so they're quite easily programmable. So the dark side is just like, it sees this tabula rasa of a stormtrooper and it's just like, oh buddy, I'm fucking involved in that. And Kylo's got this fetish for Sith artifacts, as you've seen before.
Oh,
so he's this kind of, he's carrying the helmet. Maybe he's got it as some kind of like, maybe it's part of his costume or something. Maybe he's even wearing it. Who knows? But I quite like Kylo Ren's outfit anyway. So we just like something that signifies that he's the leader. Anyway, they're mindless troops and they're utterly under Kylo Ren's control. Ren needs to get stronger. He knows this. He feels weak. He's still afraid of the power that Luke wielded maybe in episode 8. Like he got his ass handed to him. Luke killed Snoke. Whatever. Luke's gone for some reason. I maybe he dies. I think I wrote this a while ago. Maybe I killed him off. Anyway, as it transpires, all these three stories of Rey searching the ruins, Finn and Poe looking for Ezra Miller at Bridger, and looking for the Flash, and Kylo Ren realise that they need information about Anakin Skywalker, and the only place you're going to get information about Anakin Skywalker is a holocron that he left behind on Tatooine, because there's
sand.
Sorry.
The sand, Mike.
The stand?
How could he have gone back with all the sand?
Such a dick. Anyway, so he comes back. Shut up. He goes back to Tatooine anyway. He goes back to Tatooine as Vader anyway. It's in the comics. It's in like the first.
Does he struggle with the sand?
Yes, he does. Yeah, it gets in his breathing apparatus. He's like, I hate sand. It's fucking bullshit.
He just chokes out.
Anyway, so there's info about Ahsoka Tano. Now we don't know why Rey wants to know about Anakin, why she wants to know about Morthos, the Force planet. But I mean, guys, if you've been paying attention, Luke's preaching about balance of the Force. You need to accept both sides of the Force. You know, Luke uses the dark side and the light side because really there's no. If you want balance, then you need to be the balancer. You need to be the middle of the scales. Anyway, that's why she's looking for Ahsoka Tano. Because Ahsoka Tano famously left the Jedi Order after there was a big scandal, and she just went, I'm still going to use the Force. I don't want anything to do with the Jedi. And that's why she comes back in Rebels and she's got white lightsabers and she's just like fucking awesome. But yeah, she follows her own path. She's not, she's chaotic kind of good. Anyway. Everyone needs to go to Tatooine. Kylo gets there first. He's got the planet barricaded. Finn and Poe go to the Resistance and get a fleet. They go to Leia. They're like, "This is what's going on. We need to know about Anakin. We'll find it. We'll find Ezra, and we might even find Ahsoka. There's been mention of her as well. Imagine how that would be. She fought in the Clone Wars. This is incredible. Blah 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 blah." There's a new type of ship. They're like, we've just finished the new prototype. Maybe you want to fly one of these. And Poe looks at it. And he's like, I'm not flying that. I'm not flying those. They're clunky. Like, I'm getting in my X-Wing. And Finn's like, I'm going to get in your X-Wing with him. But you see them. They're called the Q-Wings. And essentially, they're 3-man size Millennium Falcons. They're tiny Falcons. And they've got the rotating guns. So this is why they're essentially like these mini tanks. They're better than Y-Wings. They're faster. They've got the power for hyperdrive and stuff. They're just brilliant. So they go to war. There's a big old space battle. We don't know what's going on with Ren at the minute on the surface, and we just see this war happen. And coming in from Q Squadron, they're going red. Rogue leader standing by, Y leader standing by. Q leader, are you standing by? Q leader, and then you just hear, and Chewie is the Q leader in his tiny Falcon with an eye patch on. We don't know why he's got an eye patch, but like something happened between 8 and 9, and they're like, "Good to have you on board, you old ball of fluff." And he's like, and then so there's a big old sky fight.
I like to think the eye patch is just a fashion choice. But he lets everyone think for a long time that something hideous happened.
The TIE fighters, by the way, this is important. The TIE fighters of the Army of Ren, they're suicidal. They're literally just like if they'll shoot at you, guns blazing, and then they'll just crash into you. You've got all this weird like kamikaze pilot symbolism, and it's all very like to upset the Americans, basically. But it's because they're being controlled by the Force. They're mindless Force zombies, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about their lives and about preserving life. They just they follow the will of Ren. So Ren is in like a sand hut, cross-legged, like Force controlling these guys in the battle. Kylo has found some information, but it's not what he'd hoped for. It's not about Anakin, and he can't quite work the Jedi holocron because he's Force strong, but you need the light side of the Force to really work. It's the same as the Sith. You need dark side Force strength to open up a Sith holocron. So we have a big old childish freak out, and you see what happens in that childish freak out. He loses his focus, and some of the TIE fighters just start to kind of drift off. And some of the troops on the ground are looking distracted, and you're like, what's going on? He storms the battlefield, Kylo Ren, lightsaber out, and he just starts laying waste to the Resistance. He's going absolutely crazy. It looks like he's going to wipe everyone out. There's a couple of guys who we're familiar with from episode 7.
I really am.
Maybe the guy who's the tribute to the Beastie Boys is just like, we need to evacuate now. Out of nowhere, Ray steps in and stands against Kylo in the middle of this battlefield. And they have a tense conversation, whatever that is. I'll let Ben write the dialogue. He's good at that. Stop doing the bad thing. No, I won't. I want to do that bad thing. Well, fuck you.
This is good.
So they're fighting a bit, and Rey is just kind of dodging the lightsaber attacks. Kylo's still... He's got a lot more finesse than we've seen him fight with before. But Rey's speedy. She's really speedy. Anyway, he manages to cut her. It's not like she's not losing a hand or anything. We're not doing that. But she gets a cut and she's like, I guess the time for games is over. And she stands at him with her staff. And you're like, you've seen her do this a million times. She takes the same stance Luke taught her how to fight. You've seen her fight a couple of times in the ruins and in some of the sub story of her getting to Tatooine and finding out where she has to go. You've seen her fight a few times with this staff, and you're like, yeah, she's pretty kick ass. But then you hear, and she's got a fucking halberd as a lightsaber. What? What's wrong with that?
That was savage.
How many more permutations of the lightsaber are we going to see? There's a halberd lightsaber. There's a lightsaber on a chain.
You haven't even seen my nunchuck lightsabers yet.
Nunchuck lightsaber. That'd be awesome.
Alright, fuck you, yeah. I thought that was a really cool idea because we let's look at that from a marketing perspective.
Oh, you just sold out instantly, haven't you, Mike? Put you in front of one major film franchise and you instantly sell out.
Anyway, she's got the halberd and she starts pulling all this like flippy Yoda shit and you're just like, holy fuck, it's an epic battle. She manages to knock him out with a big old force push and he's out, lightsabers off, he's on the ground. She knows where to go. She sees the holocron. And she sits there, the battle's raging on, she starts looking and she gets all these memories. She starts seeing, because she's a Jedi, she can unlock this, she has access to both sides of the Force. So she can unlock this and she's looking at everything about what happened to Anakin and all his memories and she kind of absorbs it all at once. She knows where to go, she knows where Morthis is. So that's where she goes. In the fight, I forgot to tell you, Kylo Ren uses Force Lightning on her. She takes it in her hand and channels it to the ground. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Because...
Why did we not think to do that before?
Well, no, the reason that she can do it is because she's attuned with both the light side and the dark side. This is a grey Jedi, guys. This is the point. Anyway, this is what happens in the conversation. So, blah, 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 blah. She goes to Mortis. They go to Mortis. Kylo Ren's in hot pursuit. It's sick and dying. There's dark side everywhere. There's a big old fight. And the Son, who is the embodiment of the dark side, imbues himself with Kylo Ren. Now, you've seen a little bit before where you'll get some exposition from the ruins of there was a son and a daughter and the father. The father was the middle ground who kept both of those kids in check.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And then you see that the son actually kills the daughter, and then you flash back. Well, you don't flash back. You'll just kind of hear it, I guess, of Anakin being basically taken over by the dark side. So anyway, Mortis is fucked. There's another big old fight as the Son fuses with Kylo Ren. Ren remembers his father, and there's a bit of an internal struggle about that. I wrote a little bit of dialogue, but this isn't like great. But she pleads to Ben's better side. She's saying, we can stop the cycle, Ben. This world, the scales keep ripping one way or the other. Did Luke teach you nothing? Did my father, your namesake, die in vain? Balance, that's the way. Dark, light, it doesn't matter. We can change it, Ben. But Kylo's too far gone. He's like an addict. This is how he starts behaving because he's so conflicted. He remembers his father. He remembers. He somehow remembers Obi-Wan. He remembers the entire legacy of his bloodline, and it starts to make him go crazy. His hands are like shaking. Have you ever seen a heroin addict who's like off the smack? No, but for real, have you ever seen a heroin addict off the smack? You know the way that their hands go? Mm. He's like that. He's having this fucking meltdown. He takes his helmet off to gasp for air. And he walks towards Rey. Rey takes a battle stance and Ren just pushes the fuck out of her. Like a massive display of power. Knocks her aside like she's nothing. Knocks the wind out of her. She's on the ground going, she can't breathe. He walks to the edge of a ledge on a cliff, overlooking just darkness, like it's just fucked. And he slowly lifts his lightsaber to his temple. You're right, says Ben. Balance is the way. And this is how we achieve it. He stands there almost doing it and backing out. It's really uncomfortable imagery. It's of someone going to shoot themselves in the head. And he's shaking. He's going... Rey stands up and she goes, Ben, no, there's another... Click. The lightsaber comes on and there's silence. No dramatic music, no swell, no giveaway. We just watch as a wide shot of the lightsaber turning on and the body falling from the cliff. Back on Tatooine, all the troops just stop where they are. Some fall to the ground, some drop their weapons. The TIEs start to plummet towards the planet, thousands of them. They're pulled in by Tatooine's orbit. The drivers... The pilots are basically dead. There's no brain function. It's utter madness. Finn and Poe are trying to escape what's going on. They're trying to collect the ground troops who are desperately trying to escape as well. They meet at the Resistance base. It looks like all is lost. Leia says that she feels some sort of forcey thing because she's Leia. Then a ship lands and it's Rey. Leia looks at Rey, hugs her again, and Rey says, Ben's gone. No, says Leia, I felt it. Ben's at peace. Then there's a party because it's Star Wars and it's the third film in a trilogy and there's always a party. It's crazy. Poe and Finn go drinking. Like, Poe is like, you ever had, I don't know, Quanian ale? And he's like, no, I've never had Quanian ale. It's like, you, my man, are in for a treat.
Because you just made it up. That's why. I've never had it before.
Right? So they're partying. All right, have you ever tried Gungan ale? There you go. I made a callback. Are you happy now? So they go and have Gungan ale. So anyway, there's a fucking party. There's lots of really nice exposition, people having wonderful conversations. Rey once again reiterating the fact that the Force has got to be in balance, both the dark and the light side. That's what Luke was trying to do. Blah 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 blah. The next morning, a ship arrives. It's the Phantom. And an older Ezra Miller steps out. He's grizzled. He's got hair like Kanan in a ponytail. Rey is woken by this arrival. She's like, what? She runs out out of the Resistance base and onto the hangar platform thing. Ezra says, I heard you were looking for me. She throws a set of robes at him without saying a word. They're grey in colour. He says, what's this? She says, I know who you are. I know what you've done. It's time to finish the work of Qui-Gon Jinn. But we're not going anywhere in that thing. Ezra's confused and he follows them. The boys are still drinking, Poe and Finn. Like, they're in a haze. They are drunk. And they see Ezra and Rey walk past. Was that? It was. They have a little, like, Laurel and Hardy double take. Maybe someone spits out the drink. They peer out the side of the corridor, and you see the shot of them two walking away, and then Poe and Finn are like, Hey, Ezra Bridges, Ezra. And they call out, but they're too drunk and they don't make any sense. And Ezra goes, who are those? And she's like, two really good friends. They walk into the hangar, and there's the Millennium Falcon. And then the camera pans over to a new version of the Falcon, and it's silver and it's chrome. And there's a few changes, but it's kind of recognizable. But it's kind of like a mashup of a Royal Naboo transport and the Millennium Falcon. It just looks shiny and like slick, but also it's the Falcon. Cut to them inside. Where are we going? Says Ezra. Isn't it obvious? Says Rey. Coruscant. And they blast off to go and form the new Jedi Council of the Grey Order of Jedis. Ezra's shocked, but understands. The end.
To be honest, I'm not surprised Ezra Miller's shocked. He's just shown up.
Ezra
He's trying
Bridger,
to be
fuck you.
He's trying to do his acting gig. This weird
Ezra
woman's
Bridger.
coming up to him and being like,
Oh, fuck,
yeah,
do you know what?
you're a Jedi
Ezra
now.
Miller could play Ezra Bridger. That could work. So, yeah, let's do that.
Did you say that Rey's father was Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did drop that, yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
How does that work?
What do you mean, how does that work?
Because
Well, when one Jedi.
Because Obi-Wan Kenobi died a long time ago. There's no way that he conceived Rey, unless you're talking about like she was frozen in a transport for many years. Are you saying that Obi-Wan Kenobi had the child on Tatooine or somewhere, and then he died, and then 30 years later she's like 18?
Yeah. If that's the biggest problem you have in my plot, I'm quite happy.
No, we're going hard on this, Mike. What the fuck? Who's Rey's parents in your one, Ben?
In mine, it's not too far off, to be honest. Obi-Wan Kenobi would be Rey's granddaughter. No, all the way around. Rey would be mind fuck. No, Rey would be Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter in my world. So he would have had children during his wilderness years, between landing on Tatooine and going, I'll look after the boy, and then Alejandro going, you know what, fuck this, I'm off for a bit. I'll come back every few months to make sure he's still alive. Apart from that, I'm going traveling around the universe. So he bangs some chicks, he has some kids, the kids go off, they grow up and they do what they do when they leave. He dies, the kids are an accident, they die. There's no one left in this young girl's life. She gets sold off as a slave. It's a classic story, but that's how I'd see her parentage going.
Right, Callum, you've got about 5 to 10 minutes. So if there's any questions you have about each of the pitches, now would be a good time, and then you have to make your decision.
Just trying to... I like that both of them went for the mythology. I like that, because I think one of Star Wars' strengths that it doesn't actually stray into so much in the sort of core films is its myth. Like, I mean, if some of it's obviously remained canon with Rebels and stuff, but there's so much like Kyle Katarn and everything he saw that we lost. And so I like that both of them went into that. I like that, funnily enough, both of you went into the sort of whole balance force thing. Which also, Star Wars needs to address the fact that when the Jedi are going on about balancing the Force, one side of the Force ruling the galaxy is not balanced.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you're the good guys, but there being 100 of you and no Sith is not balanced.
No, it's not, and that's the point. That's that's the point of my arc. I finally want to address the fact I've been obsessed with the idea of the Grey Jedi since I discovered them, and now everywhere I look, there's always one character in
There's
almost
some
every
creepy
film.
dude following you around going,
No, there is. There's always. There's always one character that you're just like, this motherfucker is a Grey Jedi. And you can arguably say, this is why I questioned Ben's Force Ghost thing, because in Star Wars canon, the way that you live after death is you have to go to the first Jedi temple, and you have to go to the first Sith temple, and you have to go to the first Sith temple and essentially like find yourself. You have to accept the darkness inside of you, because life after death is actually a Sith thing, but when the Sith do it, they kind of like arguably Snoke, maybe, if we're going to see that. But, it's kind of fucked up and deformed. If you want to be like this pure light, then you have to atone for your sins and become one with the Force. And the Force, as a thing, is light and dark. And I like addressing what happened on Morthos, because I really do think that what Anakin did on that planet, he could have stopped a whole load of bullshit from happening if he'd just shut the fuck up and did what he was asked to do, which was be the chosen one, which is what he was, and bring balance to the Force. And he didn't. He gave into the dark side. He gave into his desire to look after Ahsoka, and then he gave into his desire to get laid.
I think we've all been there, Mike. You see a pretty Twi'lek. You've got a great destiny in front of you.
But yeah, I think that's the overarching story of Star Wars, and I think that's where it should go. There should be talk about, you want to start talking about bringing balance to the Force. The boy of prophecy didn't work. The boy that was prophesied about didn't work because he didn't bring balance to the Force.
That's because the real story of Star Wars is savage, oppress. And I will never let people forget that's a real character. And that when he was born, someone looked at him and went, Savage. That's his name. We'll call him Savage. I'm just trying to think if there was anything that There were bits and pieces which not so much didn't make sense or confusing, but that I could happily see more of. Like, I like the fact, Ben, that you included Nar Shaddaa, because it's again one of those places that I think they maybe allude to it in the films, at most. Like, someone drops a reference, but we never get to see it. And
it's by far one of the most interesting places to visit in the video games and to read about in the books.
Oh yeah, so I like that we get to see more of that. I like that Hayden Christensen showed up in blackface.
that wasn't actually where I was going with that.
I'm pretty sure that's canon now.
Oh dear. So Callum, we are essentially at an hour. You got to make a decision, big boy.
I think I find it interesting that both trod sort of similar paths in certain ways.
Star Wars.
Sort of overarching themes. Yeah, Star Wars. We both of them covered a lot of Star Wars, which I like.
Similar characters involved. Yeah.
Imagine I just do the 9th Star Wars movie is just a complete non sequitur, just about like fucking Maz Kanata.
Mate, I would watch a Maz movie. I want to know what her deal is.
She's a size queen.
Neither of the pictures.
I think. I think I'm gonna have to give it to the beard.
Yes!
Simply because the amount of callbacks, I liked that both called back to stuff, but I think that, yeah, I think yours is a bigger end to Star Wars as a franchise, while both worked as to close Star Wars, the third trilogy.
Yeah.
I think you could arguably leave yours more as a, like, well, actually, no, I guess your film, both of them can go, like, then go and do more. But I think it's a bigger arc closer. And also, Ben has to get race points deducted for his blackface shenanigans.
That is very fair.
Just
That's
fucking
fair.
Unacceptable. I really don't know why you thought you could bring that in here and just get away with it.
In this day and age.
Oh, excellent! I won one. That's brilliant. Thank you. Right.
You've won
We've
two
now
now,
got
Mike.
we've now got to pick. Sorry.
This is your second win. Let's not make it out like you haven't won anything.
I'm just excited. Sorry. Right, now we're going to roll the special dice.
His second win. Which was his first win at this point?
I thought I didn't win.
I thought we all won one at this point.
No. Mike's still... Even now he's still a loser, but he has the same amount of points as us all.
Fuck off, I'm going to roll the special dice. Okay, so next week's pitch is 12. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A Fallout movie.
Ooh, dun, dun, dun.
I'm happy to host if you guys want to pitch a Fallout movie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet as a nut. Okay, cool. Excellent. Well, next week, join us. Sorry. You're the host. Shut up, Mike. Carry on.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. Next week, join us when we will pitch Fallout the movie, and maybe Mike will get his attitude under control. Maybe we'll see that?
Maybe. I'm sorry.
Alright, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Peace out.
Oh, fuck, it's that mysterious guy again. Na-na-na-na. Yo, it's the biggest pitch around, Mr. Mike Orvis. If you didn't like the way that this episode went, you don't like who won, or you don't like the pitch that was done, or you think that you could do a better pitch, then please get in contact with us over at content@geek-pride.co.uk and share us your thoughts. Put in the subject heading, pitch please, so that we know that it's for us and not just the horse porn that Matt Geary subscribes to on a weekly basis. Thanks!